Well, hey there, friends. Welcome to the Business Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Jess Cassidy, and I am so excited today because we have a special guest. We have Cassandra Smith from Launch Your Message, and she is amazing. We are going to dive into everything about publishing and marketing with books. She also has online courses and services that she provides. So let's just jump right into it. Hi, Cassandra. Welcome so much to our show. I'm so excited to have you here.
Hey, Jess, I'm really glad to be here and to get to meet your audience as well.
Yes, thank you. We're all so excited. And I just really want to, hear a little bit about your backstory, how you got, started, because what you're doing is such a unique spin on the publishing and the marketing. And I love how it's, bringing your message to life. I love that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my background, man, I was that kid, like teenager that was like, I'm gonna write a book. Like you think you're gonna be like the next singer, the next dancer, the next everything when you're a kid, right? And I hit my mid 20s and was like, oh, I should get on that. Like if I want to write a book, maybe you should like put some skill in there and start that. And they always say you need enough life experience under your belt before you write a book, which is why my first title I actually end up writing about other things and other people. It's much easier that way. And I went through the traditional publishing route. I got an agent, went to writers conferences, did all of these things. And at the end of the day, here's the feedback that I got from the big fancy publishing houses in New York and LA. Great writer, needed message, important books. Don't come back until you have 40,000 followers. And while that was crushing, and it was, it taught me the power of marketing and the fact that you really do need your own little audience and your own little message to hold on to before you can put anything forward. Fast forward, I did write that book. I did find my own way to get it done. And since then, I've actually helped others and written myself up to about 100 titles. And in that, again, is the prevailing question of how do we market? Now I work with business owners who have the same question of how do we market? And so I was just learning this language of launching our message has kind of become the constant thread that no matter who I'm interacting with, we're trying to figure out how to actually build that connection with our audiences.
Yeah, and I think that is so hard for, so many people. As we always hear like, oh, you have to get your messaging out there. You have to connect with people. You have to, put that out there. And I think as a lot of creatives and stuff, when you're spending so much time on your business, that is so hard to find for yourself.
Right.
That is easier for others.
It's literally a different part of your brain. It is actually a different side of yourself where you have to stop being the operational person, the get it done girl, the, oh gosh, I've got to fulfill an order person, and say, okay, where am I going? How do I connect? It's a different side of our actual neurochemical makeup. And it's hard to give ourselves that time when there's the demands of everyday life.
Yeah, and it's almost like you have to just slow down and like start at the beginning, which is so hard because go, 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 the hustle mindset. We're all trying to do a million different things.
Well, and do you know what's even more difficult? And this is kind of where I'm at and where some of my clients that I know really well are at. It's not only getting quiet. It's not only answering like core value sheets. It's actually looking at the vulnerable parts of ourselves and saying, what do I really want to offer the world? Who am I? How do I want to share the best of who I am with other people through the means of a product or service? So there's a transaction, sometimes it's impersonal, but really the core of it is I believe I have something precious and valuable to share with others. How do I do that in a way that it's going to be heard and I don't feel like they're going to stomp all over my identity? That's a hard part to answer.
Yes, and to turn it into that it's not just talking about you,
Right,
but how it relates to others.
Right. And we have a hard time with that. I can tell you all about things I've done. I can tell you hours of nonsense I've been through to get a product out the door. But how is it going to help you to accomplish your goals? And how can I bring the best of myself to it? It's a bigger question.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so important to have somebody like you who's the expert who can
help dig that out of you,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
other people, they're like, well, I just am, like, this is how, I am, and I know I can help these people,
Right,
and
right.
it's hard to get there. So you really need somebody who can really pull that out.
Right. And listen, I would say have your cheerleaders. We all need cheerleaders. Like, give me my little squad that's going to go, like, you can do it. Right. But the cheerleader is not the best person to be your strategist. And so, like you're saying, finding that person who can go, I hear you. I see what you got inside of you. Now let's do the hard work of getting that out in the right messaging, even if it hurts a little. Like, that is a hard person to find.
Yeah. And I mean, that goes with, publishing a book or your social media and your offers that you're doing. And, speaking of that as well, you offer a lot of services with, finding your message and getting that out there. So do you want to talk a little bit about, your company and what you guys do?
For sure. I mean, what I love doing is meeting someone who goes, I've got an idea. Like, you the part in Tangled, the Disney movie where she's like, I have a dream. Like, I feel like I interact with those who go, I have a dream. Like, I've got a story that I need to tell. I need to own a piece of myself or my message by creating a product. Or, look, I've got some great life experience and I want others to have an easier ride because I can share what I've done. The people who come to me aren't looking to be, rich and famous. They're not looking to, have their own daytime talk TV show. Like, that's not the thing. They just want to help and be an influence or leave a legacy. And I love meeting with those individuals and saying, tell me your story. Like, tell me what's going on. What is your dream? And then how can we actually create a strategy with project goals and timelines and deadlines, and what part can you do and what part can I do? And a lot of times that looks like they want to write a book. And it's most people I think have thought at some point in their life, do I want to write a book? I think I do. Now the popular thing is, do I want to have a course? Do I want to have a YouTube channel? Do I want to have a TikTok? Don't get me started about TikTok. I'm not really that great at it. I will be honest about that. But it's how do I communicate to others and form connection? And I love creating the strategy to do that. So a lot of times, listen, it's very simple. It's Zoom meetings just like this, going, tell me about your dream. Then how can we break down how to reach that dream? And what can I do, whether I'm editing for you, whether I'm ghostwriting to get you started, or I am doing some of the technical work of video editing or, setting up your funnel. It's all I see myself as is the person that says, let me take your dream and let me put it on a path so that we can actually see that in the hands of other people. There's nothing like holding your own book. And I want people to have that feeling of holding their product or seeing their website or seeing their funnel actually come to life. That's what I do.
And that's definitely, I can totally tell that, you're a strategist, because that's how I am. You're like, I don't consider myself a coach, and I don't use that word because I don't, and I will tell people this too, is like, I'm not going to just sit here and let you self-discover. Like, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you opinions, advice, and let's build a plan. Let's strategize how to get there. I can see that,
Oh, yeah. I love to talk about dreams. Listen, all day. Look, I live next to Disney. Give me the blue sky dreams. Like, let's talk about it. It's fun. But at the end of the day, if I can't take action, then it was just a fun discussion. I'd rather, again, hold my book, see my course. I'd rather hear someone say, hey, you helped me, rather, oh, that was fun to talk about. So action's hard, but I enjoy doing it with people and watching that self-discovery become self-publishing or self-promotion and see it actually go out there into the world.
And that's a big part too, because a lot of people, they don't do it on themselves, or they don't finish it by themselves because they lack the implementation and stuff. So to have somebody like that who's guiding you, mentoring you, helping you, and ensuring, the accountability part to make sure that you reach those goals that have been set.
And I'm the worst. Like, I'm the girl that like wakes up on Monday morning. I'm like, all right, let's type. Like, where is everyone? How you doing? How was your weekend? Like, what are we doing? Where's my chapter? Because you have to have that accountability. And look, life happens. Sometimes we go on vacation. Sometimes we just need a break. Cool. Let's take a week off. I'll check back in with you next Monday. Life is there and we need to bob and weave with it. But also just that, let's take one more step. Look, I can't get to step Z. I tell people all the time, look, it's an A to Z process. but why do we only talk about A and Z? Like, what about B through Y? Like that's the fiasco. And if I can get someone to move one click over, then we're good.
Yeah, and everybody that comes in at A, all they're seeing is everybody at D. They don't care all the stuff in the middle. They're just like, no, I just want to be there. So we all need accountability. We all need somebody, whatever it is in business, for sure. So I have recently started writing a book, and it's just, nonfiction. It's not anything, that is a lot of, I always say, like, I've had conversations with copywriters before, and I just cannot wrap my head around the fluff and, the filler words make everything feel so good and stuff. So, my book is much more like business oriented. So I feel a little bit better about not having to put so much of that loving into it. But of course, it's still a lot of work and, hard. And that's what I was going to say was it is so hard to, do this whole process. And so many people, with doing the self-publishing and stuff, I think they really get caught up in everything that there is to offer. And then they see all these publicists and PR teams and stuff, and, they're like $10,000 a month and, all of these different types of packages and stuff that are just really out of the reach for so many people. So I think that that's why, in a company like you have with the strategy and, the really done with you type of programs and stuff is huge.
Yeah. I knew when I did my first book, like I got rejected by the traditional houses, right? So I knew I didn't have a way. And so, this was like, gosh, almost 15 years ago now. And I was like, well, I'll figure it out on my own. Like I had a story to tell and it needed told. And me and YouTube, we were like this. I have my PhD in Google and my master's in YouTube. Like this is where I learned. But, but it was so frustrating to go, I'm willing to learn, but I don't know which video to watch. Like I just don't know what I need next. And like, what do you do then, right? And so I think that people have this drive. But like you're saying, it's confusing of, do I go with these bells and whistles or those bells and whistles? Or do I spend $10,000 here? Do I do Facebook ads? And I don't even know. And it's like, look, I get it. My goal is to make it very simple, to take, 10 or 15 years worth of confusion and boil it down to a simple system. It took me years to do my first book. I can now walk someone through the process in 6 to 9 months because I know B through Y. I know how to get to LMNOQ. Like I get that part of it. And I don't want someone to feel like they just have to like zing to this video, zing to that video. No, let's go through a sequence because it doesn't have to be that frustrating. I love self-publishing because I own the content and I can do with it what I want. The danger is because it's so accessible. We think I watch one YouTube video, I upload my Microsoft Word document, I'm good. You're not. That's not because you don't have a good message. It's because there is a process for someone else to be able to hear your message and make sure that it launches.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into it. And this is actually not the first book that I've done.
Yeah.
I've done one for my real estate company, and it was literally not written to sell, on the open markets, really sort of thing. It was really just to use in my own business sort of thing. But, even just doing that and stuff, people don't realize, like, if you did really want to, make money or be an author, which, I would never consider myself that because that was never my point of it. It was based on real estate and staging and stuff like that. So it was, a totally different purpose at the time. Yeah. But at the same, point and stuff, like people don't realize, like, it's a whole nother thing. It's like, it's not even just a product for your business, like a digital product. It's a whole other ball game of getting it into people's hands and sites, and the algorithms on those types of platforms are completely different. And then, don't even get me started on making, bestseller lists because they all kind of make up their own rules, right?
Right. Whole other thing. Like, I don't even dive into that anymore. And, people come to me and they have a bit of hesitation because we almost look down on self-publishing of like, yeah, but I'm not legitimate. My message is not actually good enough or have value, like the gold standard, unless a traditional publisher picks up my title. And I'm like, look, cool. You want the gold standard? Like, I support that. And I can help you write a book proposal. I can help you pitch. That's a long journey. And at the end, they could say the same exact thing that they told me. Or you could spend a couple of years and get really good at your craft, build up your own tribe, communicate what's important, and have something that can open doors. In some of my discovery calls, authors will ask me, like, will I make back the investment that it costs to publish this book and partner with you? And I'm very honest. I'm like, I don't know. But what I can tell you is you will have a tool that no one can take away from you, that no one can, take off the shelf, that no one can say it's discontinued and we own the rights and now nothing can go forward with this content. You own it. You can flip it, change it, turn it into online course, turn it into whatever you want because you own the rights, and you can use it to unlock new doors for you. It's just a tool. It's not the end all. I think there used to be a time where if you could get on the right talk show, if you could have a book, if you could have something on a shelf, then you made it. That's not our current commerce culture. Now, we use these things as the point to get to the next thing. My job is just to help you have that product in hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just, just authors, writers, that are creating books and stuff anymore. I guess it really depends on what your end goal is, but a lot of, people who want to grow their individual businesses, like myself, is using that as part of a tool for their business.
Right. Right. And did you know that, people, again, always ask me, well, what's the length? What should it be? Did you know that, like, you mentioned filler words too, like putting all the fluff and making it a certain length? We used to do that because we wanted the spine of the book to be as thick as possible so that you could see it on the shelves in Books a Million or Barnes and Noble. Now, no one's like going to the bookstore. I still love the bookstore, but no one really does. Now we just want to know, how quickly can I access the information and receive the value from it? Shorter is actually better.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. I, went to the bookstore not that long ago and almost all the shelves were completely empty. And I'm pretty sure it's not because they were all sold out. I'm pretty sure it's because they're not filling the shelves because people have gone the ebook route so much. But I did actually Google the other day, like what the average length of a book was and stuff. And it was like, I think like 200 pages and up. So I don't know. I thought that was really
there's a huge push right now between 120 and 180 pages, and that's not that hard to write those. It's, again, taking our expertise, taking our story, and not a memoir. Memoirs can be written, and I think they're beautiful. I wrote one. I didn't publish it. It's just for me, right? But, like, taking your expertise that someone else can take value from and then sharing it in a very easily accessible way. You don't need 300 pages to do that. Sometimes you don't even need 150 pages. Sometimes getting short and direct to the point creates the most impact.
Yes, I totally agree. And I think too, a lot of people in our industries these days, they're, instant gratification stuff. So they just want to know, like, the answers, just give me what I need to get there. And that's it. Let me move on. Unless you're reading a love story or something like that.
Or give me 500 pages, right? Like, feel the journey.
Right. I love that. Yeah, it's so true though. So, are people, when you have these conversations with people who are, wanting to write a book, whether it's, they're a full, on writer, this is their entire career, or they're using it in their business and stuff, are they concerned with the after part of writing it, like the marketing of it and PR?
Yeah, it's a weird shift because most of the time, the first several sessions that we have is, how do I get the thing done, right? Like, I just feel this burden to create X, Y, and Z. But somewhere in the middle, there's always this subtle shift of, oh, we're getting close to wrapping the project. Like, then what? And it's like, okay, gotcha. Like, I'm here for you. And listen, I started just helping people to create the product. That's what I am most skilled at. But I've come to recognize that like we have to build in that communication for after. Again, it's building connection. And you just need to connect with your potential buyers, whether or not they purchase. Building connection is always a beneficial thing, appropriate connection. Like always ensure that we're helping people to reach their goals. I was told people only make a purchasing decision for one of two reasons, because it fixes a solution or because it brings them joy. And so figuring out how does your product fix solutions or bring joy, talk about that. That is your marketing angle. And one of the things I built a very small course. It's only about an hour and 15 minutes long that really just walks someone through the process of, okay, so you've got a book. Now what? How do you go back through your material and find everything that you need so that you can market it? I call it the 285 challenge. How can you create 285 marketing pieces off of something you've already created? It's so possible. You just have to learn the process of content mining your own material, speaking from the heart about it, creating that connection, and then capturing it in some of the different mediums. What frustrates me is when I talk to different individuals and I'm looking for marketing help, or I'm looking for sales reps, or I'm doing this and the other, and all they tell me is, oh, you just have to do social media. Cool. What does that mean? Like, just do social media? Like, do I take a picture of my cat and I'm good? No. What is the strategy behind communicating clearly on social media platforms that have different rules? That is a bigger fiasco. And so the course that I have helps people to kind of work through that and know what tools you need without spending an arm and a leg. I don't always want to spend $10,000 on a new project. I want to test the market with something simpler first.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, especially people who are bringing on something new to their business. They're spending all their time, so they may not be bringing in as much income as they're used to doing too.
Right, right, right. No, I was just gonna say one of the best tips I've had, and hope maybe it communicates with some of your audience and it's a good fit for them, is look, have a day where you're doing free micro coaching sessions about your book, about your course, about your recent offer. If you're trying to communicate with other business or even B2C, just listen, let them talk to you for 15 minutes where you're talking them through one page of your book or one worksheet that you have in your workshop, and just putting it out there again builds the bridge, builds the connection point where it's not just social media that's like, look, I did this, which is cool. Celebrate. Talk about what you're doing, but it's, look, you can be part of this with me. That's what people are looking for as they're scrolling.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of, people just really loving being part of the building process and the behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that also ties back to what you were saying about, just go to social media, and social media is the place to be. And then everybody is posting random things that nobody interacts with, doesn't resonate with anyone. And then they're all sitting here saying, I'm doing all the things, but I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting coaching clients. I'm not getting sales. And the point is they're missing that messaging. They're missing that connection, which people say that's what you need, but not a lot of people say how to get there and how to do it correctly.
Right. That was my goal, is break it down and make it very simple of your audience is looking for this from this part of your content. Go build it. Here's how. Your audience is looking for this on this part of your content. This is how you build it. Go do it. So that you don't feel, I call it like people talk about like Monday morning quarterback. I'm not talking about that. This is like the Tuesday morning alarm of, oh, I'm supposed to put an article out today. What do I write about? No one wants to feel that. No one. And so I'd rather create a plan where you go, oh, like I just completed my my social media cycle for a different product that I have. I actually have it set for the next 9 months. Like I know exactly what's going to happen and I don't have to worry about it because I did my strategy and I'm good. That's such a relief as an owner and as a creative to know I don't have to spend all that energy every single morning going, what do I type today? No one wants to do it.
Yes, I do mine about a month at a time, sometimes a little bit more, but it's so much easier when you sit there and you're batching it because you're in the mindset. You can just, you can't even imagine how much you can just bust through. 9 months apparently.
Look, that took a while. This was like a multi-month project, but I needed that one to launch on its own and just get it set. So it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, and it's just so easy when you batch stuff and try to automate everything. And I think that it's when you sit here and you're like, oh crap, I gotta put out a newsletter, I gotta send an email, I gotta post on social media because I haven't done it in 15 days. You're just creating something to do it, and it's not going to anybody. Nobody cares. It's pointless
Right.
alone.
Sometimes the algorithms want to be fed. The algorithms are pesky and they're difficult, but they want to be fed. And so just even if every single thing is not perfect, post it. I mean, always be appropriate, but like keep posting because it needs that kind of consistency for your brand to have legitimacy. And so, like you said, batching because you don't have to be creative every single day. Stay consistent to your message. Like, what did you eat for breakfast last Thursday? Nobody knows. Like, we don't remember what we scrolled past a week ago, much less a month ago. Like, things can be reused, refreshed, but the core of the message is always going to stay the same. And so just keeping it fresh with new ways of saying the same things, like it's okay. We can give ourselves grace to stay consistent and not have to create over and over and over and over and over.
Yes, and definitely, using, creating templates for yourself that you can just edit and change and use for that batching. Makes it consistent for your branding,
Yeah.
and just easy to roll through, and repurposing, like you were mentioning and stuff. You can take all that old content and turn it into other things, which, takes me to a part of social media, which is if anybody uses video, it's such a great opportunity to take video because you can repurpose it into so many different pieces of content.
Right. I always start video. Always start video because you can pull transcripts, because you can pull quotes, because you can pull so much else off of it. It's harder to build up. It's easier to take your biggest, hardest project and then repurpose down.
Yes, exactly. I preach that with you for sure. I think it's the best thing. Create reels from it, all the fun stuff.
Good.
Talking about building an audience and stuff when you're publishing or, just working on your social media and your products and everything. I have seen something that I have never seen before, but I'm sure that it's been there for a really long time. But a lot of authors are creating these launch teams, book launch teams, and then they're building their audience with them, but also having a whole group of people to help promote the books and stuff. But I mean, that's still something that somebody would need, help with.
It is one of the things that I love doing for some of my authors, and it's pretty rare that they add this to the package because it's kind of a bigger expense at the end, and we kind of want to be done, and I get it, totally fine. Is they'll give me a list of names, and I will send them the PDF ahead of time, and then I will ask for 15-minute Zoom calls with each advanced reader who wants to be part of their launch team. And I ask them, what did it mean to you? How did chapter 2 hit? How do you see this helping your brand, your business, your whatever the industry is? And then I can record it and I will create a blurb that then becomes a great soundbite that can either go inside of the book, can go on Amazon reviews. And then I will actually kind of copyright their words so that it sounds very fluid. And I'm able to bring the best. Because listen, I do that for my authors because nobody actually wants to hand a book to someone else and go, here's my book, tell me I'm pretty. Like, that's weird, right? But by stepping in and going like, how did that make a difference for you? I can get some really good feedback on their behalf. And then when it comes to the launch, like you're saying, all I do is copy and paste their zhuzhed up little review and go, can you please put this on Amazon, on Google My Business, on your Facebook page? I'm actually going to create 3 different memes off of this. Do you mind posting on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? And you've got your launch team who's doing all of your buzz for you. It's so much easier.
Yes, but I can definitely see why they would need somebody like you to help manage that, because you literally do have to package it all up to give to these people and say, okay, it's done for you. Here you go, just take it, post it, because you have to make it so easy or it probably won't get done because they're busy and it's free and they're not getting a lot out of it. So if you just package it up like, here you go, here's the button to click, go do it, that makes a huge difference.
Completely. And then you can bring those people together for a virtual or in-person launch party and celebrate them, take your pictures, get your headshots, have the product pictures. It just depends on how you want to do it. And how invested you can be. We're busy, we have different seasons of life, but most people want a role in your success. And if you can give them a clear guideline of what that role looks like, they're going to be a part of it because they feel that sense of fulfillment in the victory that you're experiencing. And we kind of do that together as a community. Most people want to be a part. So, my encouragement to any of your audience members would be, don't feel like you can't invite other people into the story that you're going to launch out into the world. It doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you terrible. It doesn't make you, a spotlight hog. It means you're giving them an opportunity to connect with you in something that's important and to kind of ripple that out further. They just want to be a part of it. So let them in. They're not going to reject you. They love you. And just build that little connection that way.
And two, if you make it, some sort of exclusivity or VIP and stuff, people just love you putting a fun title on stuff.
Oh,
Like, oh, this is my VIP book launch crew. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They love that.
That's a great place for beta testing. So let's say you're launching a book and you're like, this is awesome. And I've got my review, my steering committee or this launch team. You got 50 people in there and only 20 people are active. No worries. Not a big deal. You still got 20 people, right? And you go, cool, love the book, but could I turn this into a short course? Could I turn this into a community group? Let's test it with these people. They're already invested. They're already telling you that they love you. Like, try it. It's a good sandbox to play in.
Yes, I love that. And I love, multiple revenue streams and, it's basically like repurposing, that book. I've seen so much success and I love a good workbook that goes along with a book. That is my new favorite thing of like the books I get. I'm like, if I see somebody like summarized it into a workbook, or I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I've got to have that too. So I love that.
But do you know why you love that? Because you want a role. Well, yes, but also there's something inside of you that wants a role. You want to interact with the material. You want it to become biographical and just something instead of something you're just observing. We all want a role. The more that we can give people that inside of our products, the more likely the message is going to stick. And also people are going to resonate, which means then they're going to refer.
Yeah, and especially if they're like, a business or a strategy type of book and stuff too. Like I can go through and I can highlight all the time on my Kindle, but then finding the stuff that I want to use or implement and stuff, having that workbook or, summary sheet and stuff can really make a big difference for stuff. So I totally love that.
Yeah.
So, I can talk forever about anything, to be honest. So, but can you tell everybody, like who should be, writing a book? Because I think that people, just automatically assume like, oh, I am not a writer. I just can't do it. That's not me. And I find so many people that have success that are not a writer at all. Like it's not even their main income, has nothing to do with anything that they ever wanted to do, but somehow it propelled them in their business or brought something extra in.
Sure. I would ask, you got to do some like self-discovery and like processing questions. The few that I would ask them is, do you have a heart for teaching? Do you have a heart for communication? Do you want to pass on some sort of legacy? If the answer is yes to any of those, cool. I didn't ask, are you a writer? I asked, do you want to communicate, teach, or leave a legacy? Writers can be found, editors can be found. There's an investment there to partner with someone. But like that part can be dealt with. It's, do you have something unique that's not already on the market? It can be similar, but are you bringing something fresh to the problem or solution, or something fresh to the joy that they're seeking? If you can do that, I'd say give it a go. Why not? Start with your map. Don't just sit down to a blank Microsoft Word page and like hope that 40,000 words are going to come out. Chart it. Be strategic. Figure out what journey do I want to take people on and how many chapters will it take to do that? How can I cut it up into these short sequences where it's, you need to learn this, 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 and these things lead you to this. Working with a strategist or someone like yourself or myself can help to break up how that message stays valuable for your end user. But if you've got something to share, don't hoard it. Like, give it to us, like, help us. My life has been changed by several books, by several videos, by several movies, by several conversations when someone else mentions a book. Give people an opportunity to connect and resonate with the best that's maybe just hidden inside of your experiences or your memories or your mind. Let's share and help people to get better and reach their goals or find joy. If you can do that, write a book.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. And yeah, like you said, I mean, you don't have to be a writer. That's like, that's somewhere on the totem pole, but it's not even the top five items at all. And, you can have a ghostwriter or something else. But yeah, I love that, it comes to the messaging and, sharing your story with people. And I always tell, my clients that are coaches, they always get hung up on, prices and their service, and they just want to help people. And they always get hung up on not doing and not putting their business out there, not getting clients. And if I turn it around and I say, you're doing a disservice to people by not putting yourself out there, by not offering your services, by not sharing your messaging and your story, it's a disservice to the people who do need to hear that.
It's also a tool to maximize your presence. What I mean by that is, identify if this is a business focused book, if you're having the same conversation with people over and over again, where you're teaching them the basics and you can never get to the high level action that you're looking for, maybe those over and over again conversations should be in a book, a workbook, or a course that they access before they're given the gift of meeting with you. Because you don't want to just give remedial knowledge over and over again. You're going to get burnt out and bored, and people should invest. You still help them, you still coach them, you still guide them. But can you maximize your presence and help people to go further down the line if you're not teaching the over and over again stuff, but actually making it individualized to stuff that they need unique assistance on?
I love that. And that totally, could tie in with anybody who really has no desire to write like a book and publish it and stuff, but they could, create an ebook to service to their clients and even use as a lead magnet or something. It doesn't have to be the, 300 pages. It could be, 10, 20.
Sure. Absolutely. As long as it's not just busy work, sometimes these lead magnets are just a little bit of like, haha, I got your email address, but now like go do all this stuff and fluff. And I like hate those. Like, make it a meaty lead magnet that actually helps me to accomplish one small task. I'm a big believer in those.
And it actually has to be aimed at your target audience because people jump right in to make lead magnets and they get tons of email signups. And guess what? It's not anybody that is interested in their business or services. Hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, we all want to help the people that need help, and we all want to get help from the people that want to help us specifically. So finding that tie-in is important.
Yes, 100%. Well, I know that you have a bunch of other services as well. You also do video marketing and help with online course development. Do you want to talk a little bit about, those? I know we touched a little on the courses and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, again, taking your core message and then putting it in a video I am all about that self-paced video lifestyle where I can just watch something and learn on my own time. I've taken several, 11 and 12-hour courses where I'm only watching it 8 minutes at a time, 22 minutes at a time, like an hour if I'm lucky at a time. I actually can't log into Zoom meetings where it's, at a certain specific time. I can't always make those kind of meetings. So doing it on my own pace is great. And I love to help someone give their audience that experience where it's accessible when they want it and where they want it. Look, our cell phones, this is how we are actually communicating with the world right now. This is how we're getting a lot of information. YouTube is the second biggest search optimization engine in the world because people are trying to learn via video. That tells me that people want this kind of interaction where they can learn and be taught by experts. And so writing, developing an online course, it sounds kind of big and scary, but really it's the same exact thing as a book. It's mapping out what are you trying to communicate? How do you produce value? And then how do we actually produce that content in a medium where it's not written and we can edit it, but it is live and we've got emotion and we're connecting via a screen and via cameras. I love setting up studios. I'm really like nerdy about it of like where the flowers go and where's the bookcase and like what's the set design and does it communicate who I am. But I hate the question of like, but what shall I wear? Like that, I just lose my mind on what am I going to wear. But just create this welcoming environment where I feel like someone gets to come to my office or come to my living room or come to these places that I create. I love doing that for myself. There is something kind of powerful and scary at the same time of being in front of a camera, but there's also something very rewarding knowing, again, I was able to multiply my message. I no longer do we have to put people in auditoriums or conference rooms and enter that space and go, I now teach you. I can actually design an online course that people are literally watching in any country around the world, any time zone they want, on any device that they want, and receive the training that I would love to give everybody in a very accessible format. That's powerful. And it helps to maximize your business or your personal brand to give people that experience. So I enjoy it. I like the weird details of creating a shot list and figuring out your versions of each video and doing the editing and adding the intros and the outros. It's super detailed and nerdy, but I love it.
And that's what, the other people get, caught up on. So that's why, they don't go through with it and do it. But it's a great, platform to have for reoccurring income unless you do, once a year launches or something like that. But I mean, once it's done, you can set it up and have it almost automated, which is incredible.
Yeah, and it sounds big and scary. My very first online course that I did for someone, it was a 24-hour experience. Like it was meant to be a 3-day training for government officials, and it was just, I mean, this thing was like intense, and it took months to do. Cool, that's an awesome project. It was big. My last course I did for myself for 285, the 285 Marketing Challenge, it's like 27 videos. It's an hour and 15 minutes. It's accessible and easy. And I shot it in an afternoon and edited over a weekend and it's done. I now have that for life. Hopefully they don't ever shut down my platform. But like I have the videos like it's mine. And I can use that like you're mentioning as a reoccurring revenue stream that's very simple instead of creating this entire huge thing that takes huge marketing strategy to get a 24-hour course out the door. Cool. Or I can do something simple. So sometimes I think we put pressure on ourselves where we think it's got to be this big and bad and I just do it all and I change the world with everything. Go for it. Live that dream. Do it. Start small too. Both are important and both have a place.
Yeah. Definitely. And I mean, it's something that no matter what your skill level is at, too, like you can do it. You don't have to, start at the Z place. There's beginner ones that you can do, and you can, I mean, even if you look at somebody's YouTube channel who's been in, YouTube for 10, 15, 20 years, if you go back to their very first videos, they sure don't look like they are now. So, I mean, everybody has to start somewhere, right?
Oh, gosh. But you know what? You start and you improve. And you do it again. I mean, I've got hundreds of videos on YouTube, but I did the ugly first 20. Like, we did it, and I didn't pull them down because the content is still good. My hairstyle might have changed, but, like, the content is still good, and that's fine. And so I almost keep them there as, like, a memoriam of, like, "No, no, no. I still am that kid going, 'You can go do the thing you wanna do.' Like, go live your dream. I'm here to help you do that." And the other encouragement I have is don't feel like you have to go spend $10,000 on studio equipment. You don't. You can. And, I've got in some of my material, I have, here's the studio gear I use, and here's the affordable route, and here's the pricier route. That's fine. We can get in the weeds. Honestly, some of my first courses, the reason why I actually moved into online course space was this beautiful thing called 2020. Do we remember it? I kind of blacked it out. Like, I was working with authors and keynote speakers who all of a sudden could go nowhere. We actually started doing our material. I shot some of their stuff on Zoom. Like, if that's all you have, record over Zoom with a coach who can help pull the material out for you. It's okay. People just want someone who's trustworthy and relatable, that's communicating value and solves their problems. If you can do that and you only have your camera or Zoom, that's fine. Go for it.
Just got to get started, right? Just do it. Done is better than not in any form. So speaking of YouTube, can you tell everybody, how to get in touch with you, how to reach you? Obviously, we'll put all of your links and everything in the show notes, but let everybody know how they can reach to connect with you.
For sure. Everything is at Launch Your Message. So launchyourmessage.net is my website. You can click whether you're into video marketing or publishing a book or marketing or, designing your online course. There's specific information there for you. And there are lead magnets that I promise are not filled with fluff to help get you started in case you've got one or two questions on where do I begin or how do I test some of this out. There's also a few introductory videos on there so you can see what it's like to learn inside of my platform. And then also, man, Facebook, LinkedIn, again, Launch Your Message is the site. And I frequently am putting, sure, there's like fun, encouraging memes on there, but I like to put all of those different worksheets up on my socials so that's providing that value and you feel like you can actually start your dream. And if you're looking to connect and you just want to reach out, go to the website, hit the connect with me contact button, and you can reach me directly because I would love to work with some of you guys who are out there going, I think I want to do this, but I don't know how. How is not scary to me. Let's connect and I can teach you how to reach that goal.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. And you mentioned you had a YouTube channel too.
I do. So actually the YouTube channel is for a separate product that I'm working on. I'm very into mindset and mental health. And so my YouTube channel is Change Your Narrative. And the entire thing is just how do we live out the life that we're meant to live and make sure that we are not letting a victim identity hold us back.
Oh, I mean, that's perfect. It all ties in together. If we want to, push ourselves further in business, the mindset and everything, it all has to be in the right way and it all connects. So I think it's a perfect place for everybody to check out as well.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much, Cassandra, for joining us today. And I hope that everybody got some great value. I know I got lots of tips, and I'm sure everybody else did as well. And just go and check out Launch Your Message and say hi to Cassandra and connect with her. Thank you, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you.